I'm going to give you some very straightforward advice when it comes to growing your business and how you should think about marketing and things you have to focus on that actually moves your business forward. So when I talk about this, I'm not saying this in a, I'm not coming from a bad place. It's just, this is the reality of what you have to do in order to go from wherever you are right now to that next step in your business. And throughout this entire video, a core component that we use in our business here for the last 5 years has been Jobber. That is our primary CRM where we keep track of the customer's information. We schedule our jobs, employees clock in and out. We send quotes, get deposits approved and paid. We send out invoices. We clock in on the jobs to see how long we're taking. So we've been using this software for the last 5+ years, when we were mobile detailing to getting a shop and then doing hybrid and then introducing window tint, PPF, vinyl wrap. We've been using Jobber to help elevate our business. And everything I talk about in this video, you need a core software, a core CRM to help you grow your business. You're not going to be able to do anything in your business if you're just using your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar and your Notes app. Like it's not going to work, because you need a more robust solution. So if you want to get a free 14-day trial plus a special discount, click the link down below and give Jobber a try, because again, we've been using it now for 5+, maybe 6 years now. And we use it every single hour of every single day to handle a lot of what we do in our business. Now, these aren't in a specific order. It's not saying number 1 is more important than number 5. Depending on where you are with your business and what you're doing and what your goals are, some will be more applicable or move the needle forward much more in your business, just depending on where you are. So number 1 is marketing and generating leads into your business is the foundation of almost everything that you want to do. The biggest issue detailers have, a tinter, because we also run a tint shop, or tinters or whatever, the biggest issue, it doesn't matter what industry, if you're in life insurance, if you're in roofing, if you're in HVAC, if you're in residential lighting, the biggest issue is getting leads into your business. If you get 1 lead per week, you are going to have a very hard time growing your business, because you are always with a scarcity mindset, because there's no one coming to you, right? The one person that reaches out to you per week, you can't offer a premium price. You're going to take on whatever they want. You're going to give more of your service because you want to win that customer over. You're going to look over the fact that they are going to be kind of rude to you, or that they're nitpicking, or that they want to, bring you down on price. You're going to look over all of that because you're only getting one opportunity to get a paying customer, and you want that customer because you want to make money, you want to build momentum. So that all makes sense. Now, compare that to a business that, let's say, gets 20 leads per week. You now have a much different mindset of the kind of work you take on, how you schedule your services, how you price your services, who you want to take on versus who you don't. You are working with a much more clear mindset of saying, I don't need to take on every single person. I want, of course you're still going to take on a lot of customers, but if there's a customer that is trying to talk you down on price, and you have 15 other leads to get to you, you are more than happy to say, hey, it just doesn't sound like we're a good match, whatever, and you let them go. It is much easier to do it with that when you have an influx of leads versus when you get 1 lead per week and you're just hoping that the customer books in. So the baseline of, well, hey, I want to go and get a shop. I want to go and hire someone. I want to go and get a new rig. I want to go and get trained. I want to go and outfit my mobile van. In order to get to any of that, you need leads to come into your business so that they pay you for your services. And, assuming, I'll cover the other things, assuming you're profitable and all this stuff, you start to actually make money and have money that you can actually invest into other things, into other, whatever it is that you want to do, that you want to get. But none of that happens if you don't get leads. And not just any leads, right? Quality leads that are interested in your services, that want to pay you for your services, right? If you generate 100 leads, not every, you're never not gonna generate low quality leads. Like, that's always gonna happen, right? You just wanna make sure the bulk of the leads that you get are high interest, are high quality. So the baseline to anything, whether you wanna go from 0 to 5,000, 5,000 to 25,000, or 25,000 to 50,000, A core component to that is generating more leads. Now, as I'll cover in later points here, marketing is also not everything. But for most people, I want to say for 90% of detailers out there, focusing on marketing to generate more leads is the number one thing you have to focus on the business side. Number two is that marketing doesn't solve your business. And I know I just spent the whole time saying marketing is so important. Here's what I mean by that. If you are saying, obviously you want to grow your business and you're saying, hey, I'm doing SEO. Hey, I'm doing meta ads. Hey, I'm doing Google ads. Hey, I'm doing social media, right? It's still one component to the grand scheme of running your business. So if you're focused on posting on social media and you're saying, hey man, I'm not getting enough customers, you have to make sure that your system has an entire ecosystem where you do one thing and it benefits your other channel. So what I mean by that is let's say you're running ads, right? Meta ads, and you get a customer. Other things that you can do that helps grow your business is obviously one, do a great job so you get a review, because reviews are going to be one of the most important things to ranking your Google business profile, right? It's creating more social media content on that customer that you paid for because it's an ad, right? You got that customer through an ad. It's having an A sign, an A frame, and you put that on the driveway so when people pass by, they can scan the QR code or go to your website. So you have to make sure whatever you're doing, it's able to compound with other things that you're doing. So it may be as well you're trying to focus on SEO, on search engine optimization, and you're saying, hey, I'm doing all my pages, whatever, and I'm still not seeing rankings. It's it's just, a lot of people want more leads through their website. And again, I'm not gonna go too into detail with this because I can spend literally 5 hours talking about this. If you want to generate more leads, it's gonna be highly dependent in your area. And what a lot of people think is that, hey, if I'm gonna do this SEO, I'm just gonna get, I'm gonna get so many leads. And the issue with that is it's very location based on your population. So even if you are doing everything correct and you're ranking number one, but you're in a small city, naturally you are gonna get lower amounts of leads because you're just simply not in a populated area. So when that happens, right? When you do get customers, what else can you do? Even if SEO is working for you, what else can you do in your business to make sure you're compounding those effects? And what I mean by that is, again, same example. And again, this is the way you have to look at your business to keep on doing more and more so you get more momentum. When you go to a job site, again, I'm going to repeat the same thing as the last one of get photos, get reviews. That's the same. But now when you go to a job site, do you have flyers and you're gonna walk to the next 3 houses to your left, to your right, and to your front and just leave a flyer? Can you door knock a little bit and say, hey, I'm Johnny with Zebra Detailing. I just did Michael's car over there. I'm in the area. I'm gonna take off $50 for exterior detail. Would you be interested in that? You can door knock the few houses around you. So again, there's so much more that you can do in all aspects of your marketing that you can never assume that this one thing is what's gonna solve everything, right? Now, again, there's caveats to everything because let's say you start spending $10 a day on meta ads. Would you generate leads from that? Yes. If your cost per lead is $6, you might generate 1 lead a day, but you are getting leads. Now, if you just wanna ramp that up and you just want to go from 0 to oh wow, I have a lot of leads now. Let's say you start spending $100 a day. Well, now instead of getting 1 lead per day, and again, let's say your cost per lead is $7, then in every day you'll be generating around 14 leads per day because now you're spending $100 per day. So now over the course of, let's say a week or so, you're gonna generate around 70, 80, 90 leads per week, and that gives you a much different type of momentum. But that's what I'm saying, even if you are spending $100 a day and you're generating 10, 15 leads per day, you still need to find other ways to compound your efforts. That way your dollar goes further, right? How can you get a customer, if you get a customer through an ad, how do you get that customer to come back to you in 3 months or 6 months? Because now if they come back to you one more time, that decreases your cost of acquisition for that customer, right? How do you get that customer to bring their other vehicle or refer someone else. Going back to what I just said, how do you get them to leave a review? If you're mobile, again, if you're mobile, how do you go back outside? So like these are the things you have to think about of, aside from like the one direct thing that you're focused on, whether it's posting on social media, SEO, meta ads, Google ads, SEO, aside from that one thing, what are some other secondary things you can be doing to compound those efforts? Like there's probably never gonna be one thing that like changes your business. Now again, if you go from spending $10 a day to $100 a day in ads, that'll be a pretty big difference in terms of how you grow your business, because getting 14 leads in every day versus one lead, that's a big difference. Like you will see a night and day difference. That being said though, you have to make sure everything else on the back end is optimized so that it's sustainable and profitable. And I know the marketing side and advertising sounds so daunting because it is a lot to learn. Like you started this business as a detailer and now you have to learn about websites and SEO and meta ads and making videos and doing all this other stuff. So if you want to learn the system that we use and do it yourself, you can click down below to learn more about Detailers Growth Academy. That's where I teach you how to build your own website, optimize your Google business profile, optimize your website for SEO, how to price your services, how to look at your numbers, how to be profitable. And if you want help with the marketing side and want me to personally help you, there will also be another link for that. But the important part is you take action and move on to actually do something of marketing business and not just keep on detailing. So you can find those links down below. Number 3 is you need to have a dialed in sales process, because you can generate 100 or 200 leads per month. But if you're not able to get to those leads in time, meaning you're taking an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours to respond to those leads, if you're not sending out a quote, if you're not following up on those quotes, if you're not, sending them a text message or calling them over the next 4 days, 7 days, 3 months, what have you, you are leaving thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on the table because you're not optimizing your sales process. So even if you're saying, even if you're spending $150 per day and now you're generating 14, 20 leads per day, but most of those leads you take over an hour. Most of the leads, if you get someone on the phone, you're not sending them a quote via text message right then and there. You're not following up on those leads and sending 2 messages, 3 messages in the first 24 hours or giving them a call the next day and sending 2 other text messages. If you're not following up, you are missing out on a lot of potential. And remember, like most people aren't just gonna pick up the phone and say, oh yeah, I'll book with you, right? Don't get me wrong. There is a small percentage that will do that. Some people will take to the end of the day. Some people will take next day. Some people will take a week. Some people will take 2 weeks, right? If there's a customer that's calling you saying, hey, yeah, I'm just getting pricing right now because I'm getting my brand new 2026 Raptor in a few months or next month, and I just wanna see what the pricing is. In 1 month, follow up with that person, because in 1 month, they're gonna get the new Raptor, and whoever follows up better is gonna get the job. All right, we have plenty of customers that call us beforehand and say, hey, I'm gonna go get this RV, I'm gonna go get this truck, I'm gonna go get this vehicle. And if it's in 3 months or 2 months or whatever, we're gonna follow up with them because that's when they're gonna go get that new vehicle. And when they get that vehicle, we wanna get them for the window tint, for the ceramic coating, for the PPF, and whatever else they need. So you can't, you can generate as many leads as you want. If your sales process is not optimized, you will still not be where you want to be. Again, I spent the whole first part of the video saying marketing is the lifeblood of your business. Like it is vital to do anything. On that same note though, if that is pumping out leads like crazy and they're quality leads, but your sales process sucks, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, I know a lot of detailers don't agree with this, and we want to keep things free and organic and social media. If you want to grow faster, spend money on ads. As simple as that. Now, for the last 10 years, I have focused on search engine optimization, SEO. That is like what I know and what I do and what like my specialty. And over the last 10 years, every year, we have generated thousands of leads per year. In peak, season, we'll generate 200-300 leads per month, all organically through our website because of SEO. So I am one that is in the full agreement and an advocate of organic marketing and SEO. That being said, running ads, we're getting a phone call right now from a lead. Running ads allows you to force your content, and I'm specifically referring to meta ads. It forces your offer, your brand in front of your ideal customers to at least inquiry with your business. And I know running ads is scary because a lot of people will say, oh, like I'm just wasting money, and what if no one books, and what if this and what if that? That's why I say I know a lot of people are against running ads. But if right now you want to say, man, like I want to quit my job, or not even quit my job, but like, hey, I just want more momentum right now. Spend $10 a day. And right now I'm actually making a video on this of we spend $10 a day, and I'm just gonna recap what the results. But like, if you, again, this goes back to like learning the business side of detailing, where like you have to learn how to shoot meta ads in terms of the creatives and write copy and come up with an offer and have your sales process dialed in. But like, and I'll make another video on this, but like on the meta ads example that we're doing right now, but we have spent $30 a day for 3 days, generated technically 8 leads, but I'm gonna say 7 because one of them was a friend being funny. We generated 7 leads, spent $35 I think in total, and we booked in one window tint job for $350. And here's the catch. When that lead comes in, we're gonna try and upsell a window tint. We're gonna upsell a coating. We're gonna upsell something else. So that one customer that we booked in, spending $10 a day, can go from $350 to $400 to $450 depending on what upsell. I'll give you another example. Again, this was just another test that I was running. We ran ceramic coating ads. It was $30 a day. I think in total we spent like $290. We booked in one customer, and again, like the ads were kind of ugly, and like I didn't like it. It was more of a quick test that we were running, and we spent $30 a day for a very, like, it was super limited of what we were doing. We booked in one customer, and they ended up being a $1,400 detail on spending $290 on ads. So I know we always prefer organic or free because, again, it's no like money out of our pocket to get customers. But if you want to grow faster, and if you want to, you have a specific service you want to offer, ads, meta ads specifically, is the best way to get there. So that way, like, maybe in peak season of spring and summer, we'll go up to $100 a day because we want just an influx of specifically window tint leads into our business. And running ads allows you to do just that. Organic is absolutely great. Like, again, we generate hundreds of leads per month organically. But if you want to add fuel to the fire and you want to say, I want to go from here to here, spending money on ads works as long as you have the formula in place in terms of what your numbers are in terms of not only your cost per lead, but your customer acquisition costs, and then having your sales process dialed in, and then knowing the back end numbers in terms of what is your hourly rate goal. Are you tracking your budgeted hours? Are you making sure that you are profitable? Because to make ads successful, and I see this across the board, to make ads successful, you want to make it profitable and sustainable. And a lot of detailers can't run them for long because it is neither profitable, which makes it unsustainable because the back end numbers simply don't make sense for the math to math. So ads will work if you have all your numbers in check and you have your sales and operations in line. Because if you get a lead through social media, it was free, right? Yeah, you posted content, whatever, but like you didn't pay a platform money to generate that lead. So if you lose one, you take too much time to respond to them. They go somewhere else. Okay, like it sucks, but it was free. It's a different ball game when you're now spending money every day to generate that lead, and you lose that lead for whatever reason. It's a different kind of pain because now it's like, hey, like there was actual money associated to that specific lead. On that same note though, I know I'm hyping up, paying for ads and such, but you also do want to have a reliable, steady stream of organic leads coming in, because you don't want to stay on the hamster wheel of paying for every single lead and every single customer, because it's going to get expensive. So whether it's posting on social media or doing SEO, search engine optimization, you need to get those methods up and going, because as far as a blended means you're combining everything together. If your cost per lead is $10 for to generate leads, if you're also generating organic leads, again, blended, right? Meaning if you're just mixing everything together, then if you look at all the leads that you generate as a whole, if you're paying $10 per lead for through meta ads, and then you're getting X amount of leads organically, well, now in total and blended, your cost per lead is actually, let's say, $6 per lead, right? Because you're also getting organic customers. If you're getting 100% of your leads through meta ads and Google ads, you will just keep on getting a more and more expensive lead and more expensive customers, because like that's all you're doing. Like you're strictly just paying for every single customer. So that's why it's good to have organic marketing channels. Now, what's better, SEO or social media? It's just whichever one you think kind of fits with your style. Like, there's pros and cons to each one. Again, I've been doing SEO for 10 years. That's why every month or every year we generate thousands and thousands of leads organically for free, because I spent 10 years now doing just that. Now with SEO, it's not an overnight thing, right? Like, yes, it takes like 6 to 9 months to start getting results, but like you can really, if you're gonna be in business for 5 years, then you look at your website and SEO over a 5-year span. Like, it's not something like ads where you just turn on and it starts working. Like, it's gonna take time. And that's the thing that what I was going to earlier of like, you have to find other ways to get to leverage other channels. So like, for the last 5 years, like we continually still optimize. I still optimize my website, and I'm still doing different things to make sure I stay on number one for multiple keywords in my area. And it's very slow. Like it over the last years, like over the decade, it's compounded year after year, where now more people see us on Google, more people recognize our name, we get more customers, so they go back to Google and search our name, so then that helps us with our organic ranking. So it's a very slow compounding effect over years. Now, if you're saying, oh, it just takes too long, well, run ads. That is the dichotomy between, if you want something faster, spend money on ads. Oh, but I don't want to spend money. Okay, well then do something organically like SEO, but it's going to take a long time. Now, again, social media is also in the last 10 years on social media, I've probably posted 20 times in the last 10 years. I don't generate any leads through social media. Now, I can change that and start focusing on posting content. But again, it's just, what are you gonna do, right? So social media also works fine. The thing with that is you just have to be very consistent. You have to make sure you're posting engaging content, and you have to make sure you're creating the content that's calling out your local customers. It doesn't matter if a video gets 1 million views if 99% of those views are in different cities, different states, or different countries, right? Like if you're in Orange County, and even if the views are coming from California, but they're coming from San Francisco, it doesn't really make any, it doesn't help your business, right? So social media is great. You can get views, you can build content, but you don't control who watches your content. So it needs to be educational, it needs to be entertaining, needs to be instructional, but you also have to have a angle to where you're always calling out your specific area, so people know, oh, this guy's actually in Orange County, oh, this person's in Anaheim, oh, this person is in Austin. Because a lot of people, one, won't know that that's your area if you're not calling it out, and then two, some people might think you're oh, that must be Austin, and you're in Atlanta or something, So again, with organic, for the most part, it takes time because again, it's free. It's the snowball effect. Unless you're just really good at creating content, or you just, I don't know, for some reason the algorithm likes you and your video just start getting views and views and views. Aside from those, it's going to be slow going. So, again, I am an advocate for organic marketing. I have been doing SEO for the last 10 years. We have generated thousands and thousands of leads per month for detailing, window tint, PPF, vinyl wrap, all organically for free for the last 10 years. The caveat with that is it's a big learning curve. It takes a lot more time. You have to learn that platform, whether it's organic marketing, whether it's social media or SEO. You have to go all in to fully understand how to create good videos or how to actually optimize your website or optimize your Google business profile. So it's gonna take time, but it is free. Again, ads, you can start dumping money, start generating leads tomorrow. Like if you're doing your creative correct and everything goes properly, you start spending $10 a day, you'll generate a lead within 48 hours. With SEO or social media, you post 3 videos, you create 1 page, you're not seeing any movement whatsoever. Might take 3 months, might take 9 months, might take 14 months. It's organic, so you have no control over the output, but you can control the input in terms of like how much you're optimizing or how many videos you make or the quality of the videos. But again, like you really don't have any say-so of saying, oh, well, I want this video to get 25,000 views and I want to get 10 leads from this. Like you have zero control over that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So we talked about marketing in terms of generating leads. We talked about spending money on advertising to generate leads. We talked about dialing your sales process because you need to make sure that you're closing your customers. Now, again, that's still just a part or several parts of the overall process. Then you have to look at more back-end numbers, metrics, and systems in terms of, for instance, you should every time you go to the job site or every time a customer comes to your shop, you have to find ways to increase your average ticket price. And that's gonna be done in the way of upsells. If you go to a customer's location and they call you out, and this is especially true if you're spending money on ads. If you have a customer that calls you out for an exterior detail and an interior detail, this is a made-up example, and your customer acquisition cost is $100, let's say, and your average ticket price is $300, let's say, right? What other upsell can we do to increase our overall price ticket? That way we can make more money, and the more money we make, the bigger return on ad spend that we have on our ads, which makes everything work a lot better. So if you're there for again, you can make up literally any example. If you're there for an interior and exterior detail, can you upsell an engine detail? Can you upsell headlight restoration? Can you upsell a scratch removal? If you're there just for interior detail, can you upsell the exterior detail? Can you upsell a wash? Can you upsell something else? That way, if you're there for 300 or 200, whatever the price is, it goes up to 250, 275, 300, 350. Like that is what you have to do on all the jobs that you get, because you need to focus on increasing that average ticket price, because that makes the math make a lot more sense. It's very hard to this is gonna change business to business, but like it's very difficult to make the marketing, especially if you're spending money on ads, to make sense if the numbers aren't there. Like if you're charging, if you're charging $175 to go out to do a detail, and your customer acquisition cost is $100, there is not enough margin in there to cover expenses, to cover ad spend, to be profitable, and to continue doing that. Like it's simply not there. So you have to make sure the math makes sense, and one of those ways is by upselling your customers once you get there. Please don't come to me about like, oh, but that sells you that. Stop. We're running a business. You're not upselling to be like a salesy person, or like you're gonna be a hardcore salesperson. If you're on the job site and you see that the headlights are foggy, it's as simple as saying, hey customer, I see your headlights are foggy. We can actually restore those. Typically we charge $140, but since we're already out here, we could do it for $100. Would you want me to get that done for you? Either yes or no, and that's it, and you keep on moving on. Like that's literally it. Like even just yesterday, we had an interior detail come in. We just text the customer, like, hey, do you also want to wash? It'll be $50. They said no, but that's okay. At least give yourself the opportunity to upsell, because you don't know what else the customer wants, and you don't know what the customer knows or doesn't know about your business. Maybe they don't know that you do a wash or an exterior detail, or that you can restore the headlights, or that an engine detail is even a thing. Like you don't assume you know what they know. So offer your other services, because you're already there. Like, they've already hired you to go through this one thing. So like, if they want other things done, give yourself the opportunity and give them the opportunity to tell you yes or no. And sticking on that same point is that once you're on the job site, you do have to do things like track your time. And I know this is a bamboo idea to most people, because they're like, hey, it's me, it's my business, I know what we're making. The amount of detailers that I've spoken to who I asked, like, hey, what's your hourly rate goal? And then I asked them, how long does it take you on these jobs? What's your average ticket price? How much are you charging? Is it you and a helper, an employee? The amount of people that get this number wrong is so high that it seems like you don't need to do this, because it's like, hey, like, it's my own business. You need to see how long you're taking on these jobs. So like, for instance, we use Jobber. So in Jobber, we can clock in on every job. I'm sure whatever CRM that you're using, it's gonna have same functionality where you can clock in, not for the day, but you can clock in on every job. So when you get to the job site, you press start timer. And then if you're done with the job, you stop the timer, and you do that with every job. And the reason why you want to do this is because this will give you an objective number of how long you're taking on these jobs. Because here is the biggest issue. Because I just had this conversation not too long ago, I think yesterday actually, or 2 days ago. I asked the person, like, hey, how long, what's your, I asked, like, what are your prices on whatever. And he's like, hey, these are my prices. And then I was like, okay, how long does that take you to complete? It's like, it takes around 2 hours. And typically when I ask, like, I've come to the realization, if I say, are you talking about man hours? If I ask that question, it kind of confuses people. So the way I ask the question now is, hey, do you work with a helper? And they'll say yes. And then I'll say, okay, if you start the job at 9 a.m., are you done with the job at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.? Oftentimes they're gonna say, we'll be done, that 2 hour job is done at 11 a.m. But there's 2 people working. So yes, you took 2 hours on the job, but that's 4 total man hours that's on that job. So you're not, if you're charging, $200, you're not making $100 an hour. You're making $50 an hour, because it took you 4 man hours in the span of 2 hours to complete that job. And that is why it's so vital to track your hours, because what you think is X amount is actually X amount over here. And that discrepancy right there is where you're losing a lot of money, because you don't know how long you're actually taking. If you say, oh, hey, my hourly rate goal is $100 an hour, and you're not tracking any hours, you're not tracking any budgeted hours, you cannot confidently say throughout this whole day, let's say you work from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You cannot say, when I was on a job site, every hour of that day, I was hitting $100 an hour. You simply can't do it, because one, you can't remember that much activity, right? Like, there's a lot going on. And again, like, the great thing about this, like, you need more data in your business to have more insight into what's going on. So when you, like, let's say you do, let's say you have 3 jobs a day, and you do that for 5 days, right? So that's 15 jobs, right? So now on the weekend, you can go back to all those hours, to all those jobs. And then again, if you have an employee, they're going to be clocking in on every job as well. So now you'll go back to every job and say, okay, we charged $250. Again, in your schedule, you're going to say, oh, hey, we were there for 2 hours. But again, since there's 2 of you on the job, again, this is how Jobber shows it. So, obviously your CRM will be different. On the job, it's going to show, hey, total hours spent on this job was 4.3, 4.5, whatever, right? So then you'll just say, okay, if we charged, I'm making up numbers here, 250, divide that by 4.5. Oh, wow, that's our actual effective hourly rate. Again, this whole time in your head, you're saying, hey, we're making $100 an hour. Once you do that math, and you do that for every single one, you'll be like, oh, wow, like, we're way off the mark. Because, yeah, there's some jobs that you'll hit, like, hey, that was $110 an hour. And then you have some jobs that are at $60 an hour. If you average it all out, and you look at, total revenue generated, divided by the number of hours spent on the job for, like, let's say those 5 days,
You can look at your average hourly rate, your average effective hourly rate, and say, oh wow, like we're actually on average hitting $70 an hour. Whether that's good or bad depends on your business, your finances, what you're doing. But it's a big difference from assuming you're making $100 an hour. So yes, it's mundane, it's boring, it's like, oh, I have to track my own hours, but I don't want to be employed. Yes, you want to track your own hours. You want to see how long you're actually taking. And I know a lot of detailers want to talk about, hey, I want to grow a team, I want employees, I want to get out of the field. Well, how are you going to manage your team, manage your employee, manage your numbers, manage your metrics, manage your profitability if you have literally zero data on what's actually going on all the jobs? I do not care, and listen to me closely, I do not care if you say this car is $1,000. I don't care if you tell me this full PPF job is $7,500. If you are not tracking the numbers inside of those jobs, the total price you're charging is irrelevant, because you can have a much smaller job be far more profitable than a higher ticket, and that be less profitable because the actual numbers that you're running in that job. So do not just look and say, hey, we have $1,000 on the schedule today, so we're making money. Hey, how I make $1,000 in one day? If you're not tracking your numbers and understand the math that goes behind those numbers to see if you're actually profitable, what your labor percentage is, how much you're spending on material, specifically if you're in window tint or PPF or vinyl wrap, because material costs will be a percentage of the job, then it doesn't mean anything. It's the same way if you just tell me, hey, I'm making $50,000 a month. That means nothing. Like the number itself is pure vanity. It has no meaning if you don't plug the other numbers behind it. To just say, hey, we made 20,000, we made 50,000, we made 80,000, it literally does not matter, because you could still have $0 in your bank account because the numbers on the back end are not making sense, and you can generate $50,000 in top line revenue, but be, running at a 5% profitability rate. And at that point, you're barely making money. But it's gonna sound good on social media. You can flaunt about it. You can hype yourself up. But in the grand scheme of things, whether you're making 20,000 or 80,000, if you're not profitable on those numbers, you won't grow. You'll go out of business. You can't pay your employees. You can't buy stuff, and you'll just live in a constant mode of stress because there's no money in your business. By the way, the car shot and then this shot is the next day, but it kind of looks like from the same video, right? But it's not. So last one or two things that I'll talk about is the detailer's mindset. Now, in 2026, we're gonna go heavy on tint actually, but all our, I'm a detailer, so I talk about detailing. But we need to step away from having the lens and perspective of detailing, because it puts you in such a box that if you see it through the lens of detailing, then that's gonna limit a lot of things that you do and not even allow yourself to think about other things, because all you're thinking about is like interior detailing, paint correction, ceramic coating, flawless paint, car washes, right? Again, that's fantastic. Like, that's the reason, for one reason or another, that's why you started your business, because you enjoy detailing to some degree. But if you want to grow your business to whatever, size you want it to be, you can't just think of yourself as a detailer. That's gonna limit everything that you do, right? You're gonna have a different mindset of spending $10 a day on meta ads. You're gonna think differently about creating your own website, or you're gonna have doubts or say that search engine optimization doesn't work, and you're not gonna wanna upsell, and you don't wanna raise your prices, and you don't wanna hire anyone, and you don't wanna go get a van, and you don't wanna get a shop, and you're not gonna do all these things because you are so focused on just being a detailer that you're just saying, hey, I'm supposed to clean interiors and polish paint, and that is my job. And if I get a vehicle that comes in, then I must do a multi-step correction, and I have to use the rotary, and I have to do a two-step, and the paint has to get out of here swirl free because my name is on that car. Like, if you compare us to many other industries, I think we glamorize a lot of what we do to the detriment of the industry in itself, or to the detriment of the detailers itself, right? Because like if a swirled paint comes into your shop, or you book a customer in, and you're saying, oh well, man, like this paint can come out so good to a two-step correction, man. Like I'm gonna remove these swirls because I'm like I don't want to do anything less than that because my name's gonna be on this job, right? So maybe you'll underquote it, you'll take longer, what have you, and you're really doing it because you as a detailer want to see that paint shiny, right? And again, that is your part of what you enjoy. But you know, just look at a mechanic, right? And a car goes into the shop with, you know, wheel bearings, bushings, a control arm, any issue, right? Brake pad, whatever. And you tell that all to the customer and you say, hey, it'll be $1,700 for the repair, for like whatever, for everything, right? And they say, oh, well, just do the brakes. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna do the brakes. Like there's no other, there literally is no other second opinion of like, oh, well, I'll just do this. No, like I'm just gonna do the brakes. Like they need everything else. I'm just gonna do the brakes. And that's gonna be like, you know, look at HVAC, electricians, roof, like it almost rarely do you ever have that same mindset of like, well, I can do more because like I want to, because it's fun and it's gonna come out better. Versus like, hey, yeah, the customer's paying for this, they're paying for this much material, this is what they're getting, and like that's what I'm getting. Because like there's much harder costs with a lot of other industries that like you like objectively cannot do more, because like everything you do more takes more money. And the issue with, not the issue, but the nuance with detailing is that like, since it's just you, and it's not like, yes, you have material costs in terms of, yes, you're using 4 ounces of APC, yes, you're using your washerman, yes, you're using, but like grand scheme of things, it's maybe like $5 that you're, maybe $5 worth of material that you're using, right? So grand scheme of things, it's not like there's major material costs with that job. So that's why you're very much able to say, okay, I'll do a little more and I want to do this, because it's mostly your time. Whereas let's say even with like with PPF, you're not gonna give a hood install away because you're like, oh well, you know, I know they really want this, you know, this would really help them protect their hood, so I'm gonna do it for them anyways. Why? Because you have material costs. Like, it's not just you saying, oh, I'm gonna install it. It's like, well, you also have to spend money for that material on that hood, and now you're paying for the material. So you're not just out on your time, but now you're out in material as well, and that compounds. And with detailing specifically, like, yes, the pads compound, but like it's such a negligible cost that like that's why so many of us like do more. Because it's like, oh, well, it's just, you know, it's not a big deal. I just gotta spend a bit more time. So like, you know, there's not many other industries that like allow to do that because of the actual cost or how long it takes, or just the profession that it is. So like, I personally don't glamorize detailing at all. Like, I don't see it as saying, oh, like we really need to do a 2-step, where it's like, hey, what does the customer want? And we're gonna give it to them. If they wanna spend $1,600 for a multi-step correction, and then another $400 for a ceramic coating, and they wanna spend whatever, $2,000, $2,100 for a correction and coating, fantastic, go do that. If they're coming with a more mindful budget, which most of your customers are, and they'd rather spend $400 on a 1-step polish or an all-in-one, no coating, fantastic, we're gonna do that too. But I'm not gonna put myself in a box to say, hey, like, hey, if we don't do a 2-step correction on this car, we can't take it out because my name's gonna be on that vehicle. It's like that. That's not a healthy way to look. Again, that's not a healthy way to look at your business. Now, if you want your shop to be filled out with correction and coatings that are $1,000 to $3,000, go get those customers that are spending $1,000 to $3,000 on correction and coatings, and fill your shop or fill your schedule if you're mobile, and fill your schedule with that. But anything below that, you can't give your services away. You're just giving your time away. Again, like, you're spending more time being a detailer than you are a business owner, right? You're gonna spend more time detailing and doing all the work and taking every call and sending every email and booking every job because you just have that detailer's mindset, and that's gonna limit you a lot.